Okay, we gotta go through this. And then I always hit one extra time too much, and then it goes past it, and we gotta go all over again. All right, so let's talk about this effective date. How many people have put in an offer and they send it back and they say, your offer has been accepted, but you don't see the contract. You don't see the signatures on the contract. Anybody ever, hey, Cliff, we got your deal. They've accepted your offer. Fantastic. To the realtor on the phone that just called you, when does your due diligence period and all your aspects of the contract start?
When you see it assigned.
No, when she tells you, or he tells you. They're immediately going to be like, okay, 3 days from 3:30 today, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday at 3:30, they're going to be expecting what? Yeah, the earnest money. So here's what's really cool. How long does it usually take to get the signed contract back? If it's a bank? 2 weeks? Guess when my due diligence starts? When I get a copy of the contract that's in full effect. So if I don't get it for 2 weeks, I've got 2 weeks till I have to come up with this. But generally what happens is at 3:30 on Tuesday, they're going to call me and they're going to be like, Cliff, we didn't get your deposit yet. I said, that's funny, I didn't get the effectuated contract yet. And they're like, what do you mean? I says, well, how long have you been doing real estate? You got to say it like that too. And you can make this really contorted face. Like, how long have you been doing real estate? Why? All right, they're way up. You guys, it's a game, guys. It's fun. This is fun to do. You got to knock them down a bit, all right? And when you knock them down a bit, because they're what? Knocking you down the minute you walk in the door.
Yeah.
Okay?
That's right.
So, look, hey, you know, I was born tonight, I wasn't born last night, and when I signed the contract, I do remember saying that we were going to do everything after the effective date. I have not seen the effective contract yet. So immediately, they're going to be like, okay, yes, and they're going to walk out and they're going to be, oh shit. They're going to call the other agent up that, hey, I don't get the deposit yet because you didn't never send me the damn contract. So they're going to be like, okay, so they're going to what? Rush it over and sign, have the contract signed, and then deliver it probably within 24 to 48 hours. And then they're going to say, okay, Cliff, we need the deposit. Like right then when they give me the contract. I'm like, no. I just got it. I've got 3 days. Okay? And then don't say anything. Say, okay, bye-bye, see you later. Okay, bye-bye. Right? And then what happens is 3 days later, they're going to call you for what? The money. And you're going to be like, hey, you sent over an addendum and it's not signed. Have you ever got the addendum from the bank or from like an estate, and they add an addendum to the contract after they accept it, which of course negates everything on the contract? It's 99% generated by the agent. Okay, if it's a bank-owned property, the agent is going to send you a blank addendum. And right at the top, yeah, that's really funny. Anyways, I remember my first beer. Anyways, actually I don't. Anyways, he was going like this. Anyways, so like I'm totally screwed up now. I'll never remove that image from my So at any rate, you get what? Extra time on getting that contract, because they're going to call you up and they're going to say, I want that, and you say, hey, you sent me an addendum and it's not signed. You can literally get about 30 days out of it if they're that, not sharp. So you guys with me on that? Okay, wasn't that fun?
Yeah.
Do you think that's anything of value for you guys? Okay, all right, yes sir.
I just want, it's kind of a fine point, but if you have an agent representing you, there's kind of a de facto or maybe a de jure power of attorney in place. And so, if the agent represents to you that they saw it, then basically you saw it.
That, I don't know how it would be adjudicated in court, but...
I mean, don't get me wrong, I love your attitude.
Yeah.
But
well, then what you do is you say to your agent, say, look,
Have you seen the contract?
yeah, have you seen the contract yet? And here's why. I bought a house, or, well, actually I got it under contract. They called me on Friday and they said, Cliff, you got the deal. I said, great. I went out and I spent $1,000 on an appraisal and an inspection so that I could have it for Monday because I wanted to rock and roll this house out. She calls me on Monday and she says, I've got bad news. Over the weekend, they accepted an offer that came in that was higher than yours. And I said, well, that's not my problem. They signed the contract. And she says, well, that's the other problem. The person that was supposed to sign the contract left at 3 o'clock, your offer went in at 4, they never actually signed it. Although they accepted it over the phone, they never actually signed it. Now, legally, I could have nailed them to the cross, okay, and I could have won. But again, it's hearsay. It's he said, she said, and what do you get out of that? Except a big attorney's bill, okay, hassle, and then maybe a blacklisted name, you know, because you sued the agent. If I'm going to sue an agent, I want black and white. You know, I want like, oh, this guy really screwed up, Your Honor. Look, and the judge is like, oh yeah, they really did. Because otherwise, I don't want to go down that route. I don't want to go down the legal aspect. So yes, they do have a fiduciary responsibility between you, and they could sort of act on some sort of power of attorney. But I don't want to do business that way. Is that fair?
Yeah, okay, and so what is the point of doing this? It's just a power play?
It's a power play, number one. Let's say you don't have the money.
In the contract.
A lot of people don't have money to buy the deal.
Right.
And you just got, what follows the deal?
Money.
Money. So it's kind of like the chicken and the egg. In this dance, the realtors all want to see the money. I mean, it used to be I had an escrow account with $2 million in it, and I would just literally show them the escrow account.
Right.
And then they were like, no, you need to deposit this amount in here before we even present the offer. And it got really bad like that a couple of years ago. Okay? And the reason it did is because there were so many people coming through, putting in offers, and then falling apart because they really didn't have the money. So they're making it more and more difficult over time. So the way that I do it is having the time after the effective date enables you to increase the time that you have, if you don't have the money, to come up with the money. Okay? So it is, for me, it's a power trip play.
No, I love that part of it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that.
Especially when I'm like,
And a lot of them won't be astute enough to bring up that, well, I'm your agent, and if I saw it, you saw it, so don't worry about it. Right. No, I like it very much. I'm good. We're good.
Awesome. So here's what happens. What are they going to do when they see this? Now, is this something that they would like?
Yep.
The terms.
Yep.
Negotiate the terms. Are they going to like this?
No.
What are they going to do? They're going to counter me. As soon as they reject, when they counter, they're rejecting your offer. You realize that? Okay? When they reject your offer, even though they're countering it, what happens to this offer? What does it become? Null and void. Okay? Nice. Isn't that nice? So that's when we do what?
Change
everything.
Hey, it's actually the next slide. I didn't go backwards. It's actually the next slide. I'm going to come up here. I might come up. Depends on what they come down.
Right.
Let's say it's a $100,000 house. They were asking 100. I need to buy it at 60. Just making stuff up. And I offered how much? 50. And they came down to 90 on the counter. I would go up 10,000. Okay. Maybe not, but somewhere I would try to match their movement. Because if you match their movement, it shows that you're trying to negotiate instead of just being a jerk. Anybody watch that Pawn Stars show? The one, not the one in Vegas, but the one in Detroit? With the guy with the balding head and he's got all the gold? That guy, I would never negotiate with that guy. He's brutal. Okay? But here's the interesting thing. We don't know what that's going to be. We have a number what we want to sell it for or buy it for, and they have a number that they want to sell it for. So at this point, what are we doing? We're negotiating. Okay, with a 50% offer. How many of those do you negotiate? Usually you just get told to pound sand. Right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the original offer, and it's really important that you print it out. okay? And tell your agent to print it out, because I like the electronic signatures and all that, but it doesn't have the same effect. But when you print it out and then fax it to them, this is what's really cool, or scan it and email it to them. Here's what's really cool. I'm going to leave this in there, I'm going to leave this in here, and I'm going to what? The word not. Remember it says this contract is not assignable? I'm going to cross out the not and I'm going to initial it. And I'm going to cross it out, like, really make sure they know that it's not, that it is now what? It is assignable. Okay? And I'm going to change the due diligence. I'm going to cross out the 48 hours. I'm going to put 15 days on there. But Cliff, it's California. There's 17. Okay, then put 17 on there. Put 22. It's an effectuating situation that we're doing in order to make them look at that number, and it's not 48 hours anymore. Do you get that?
Yeah.
Okay. The closing is going to be 30 days, not 5 days. What are they doing now? They're like, what the hell is that? Right? And then the earnest money was it was 60,000 or whatever, 50,000. Now it's $1,000. What's the phone call going to be like when that agent calls my agent? What the heck are you doing with other expletives, right? Isn't that right? All right. Is this going to get their attention? The first thing they're going to do is they're going to be like, Cliff, what happened to the offer? We were happy with the offer, but we just were unhappy with the numbers. We would like you to do our number with this deal. And I'm like, oh yeah, I bet you would. Okay, everybody would. That's like the perfect deal. And here's why it's not. It's because that deal, those terms were predicated on that number. If you can do that number, I can do those terms. Okay?
Yeah.
And guys, honestly, if you got a contract tomorrow on a house like the last slide, how long would it take you to sell it? The wholesale.
3 days.
Negative.
Yeah, I sold that $927,500 house in 15 minutes. My wholesale, it made $160,000 bucks. Okay, I didn't make it.
Was it pickup?
No. I gave it to the student. It was his class. It's fair. I didn't need the money. I had beer at home. Oh, was my focus then, and amongst other things. Yeah, he did the deal, and he actually knocked it down $50,000 to make sure that he was a good deal, which he just threw $50,000 out the door. Took the $110,000, went to Vegas, and bought $1 million house with it. And he's now living in Aruba. Because he never paid the IRS this month. Yeah!
Is that what
And he lost the $1 million house. Yeah. Greg Ketter, Ketteer. He owes me 16 grand. That's why I spelled his name. Yeah, he is living in Aruba now. Anyways, he's at corporate something now. I don't know. He teaches people how to be corporate. Anyways, you got yeah. So right here, all this does is now we're negotiating, now we're talking to the agent, or our agent is talking to them and saying, let's put this together somehow. How can we put this together? Your number's ridiculous, our number's ridiculous, you want ridiculous terms for the ridiculous amount of money. How do we put this together? And when, as an agent, when the selling agent calls you, and they're going to be pissed, they're going to be angry. They're going to be like, what kind of game are you playing? Well, the same game you're playing. I'm a real estate agent, broker, just like you are, and all we're trying to do is put deals together. Right? They might
Deals that
have.
work.
What's that?
Deals that work.
Yeah. It's not for you and I to decide. Have you ever had to tell the agent, look, dude, it's not your decision, it's the seller's decision. Well, they told me what they would take and what they wouldn't. Did you present this offer to them? Because you don't know what they're going to take today. Their wife might have just left them. And you know what? I'll sell it for $50. Yes, sir.
You're doing that with actual owners, not REOs for mortgage companies.
No, I do mostly REOs over the last couple of years.
You're doing that with REOs?
REOs, yeah.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. When I started using this technique, we went from 1 in 100 offers being accepted to 1 in 6.
That's good.
Now it's starting to slow down again because the inventory is getting, but still, really good odds. I turn deals away. You guys love that. Okay. So this here, all it's designed to do is to get your offer to the top of the pile. Start negotiating with them, because I'll be honest with you. let's talk about the seminars again. There's one that comes into San Bernardino area. Every 6 weeks, a whole bunch of busloads of people, right? You know what I'm talking about? You don't know what I'm talking about?
That boot camp thing?
Yeah. Yeah. And what happens is they teach 650 to 750 people the exact same thing. And then they put them with realtors and they say, go put offers in. And they're all putting offers on 10 houses each, right? So do you think there's a little overflow onto other deals? And they're all the same offer. So what the agents are telling them, say, don't listen to what that guy said up there. If you want this deal, you're going to have to do what? What do you think they're going to have to do?
Right.
You're going to have to come up and give them what they're asking for.
Highest and best.
What's that?
Highest and best.
Yeah. Oh, no, this is when they're writing it.
Oh.
The buyer's agent, they're like, yeah, if you try to offer 50%, they're not going to take that. So you need to give them a full price offer. In fact, if you want to get it, because there's going to be all these other people,
More.
you're going to have to go over. Okay? And I've watched it. Of course, I don't work in that business anymore. Okay, so here's the cool thing. When you learn how to structure the purchase agreement, it gives you the ability to do what? Get to the top of the pile and negotiate. Okay? Because otherwise, where do they throw your offer? It's in the trash. You know, well, technically, you know, not technically. Everybody got a piece of paper and a pencil? Everybody? Yes? No? Oh, he's smart. He's videotaping it. I can get a copy of that, right?
You sure do.
Awesome. I just like to watch myself, and you know.
Laugh at yourself.
I make fun. Yeah. So, anyways, this is extremely important. Can everybody see that extremely important? That red is kind of
Hard to see.
hard to see. If you're colorblind, that's gray. If you didn't know you were colorblind and that's gray, you're colorblind. Okay, this is very extremely important, and I want you to write it down verbatim. Okay. This is, you're going to write on every single real estate contract that you ever do from now on in the future. Can you see that okay? I'll give you the slide.
Yeah.
I'll give you the slide. All right. And it says, all contract contingencies and timeframes commence upon buyer's receipt of a fully executed contract and all addendum. Remember how I said earlier that I have to see it? That's how I do that. So my agent is nowhere listed in there. It says, upon buyer's receipt of all fully executed contract and all addendum. I'll give you a few minutes. Tell me when you're done.
That should be addenda.
Yeah. Actually, it's either or.
Is it?
Yeah, I looked it up. I really did.
Do you trust your source?
It was, it's the Webster's.
My 8th grade Latin teacher would disagree.
Absolutely.
Really? I always say addenda.
I always laughed at monies.
Was that monies?
Like, yeah, when people make reference.
Yeah, earnest monies?
It's all increment of measurement anyway.
Everybody got that down? Anybody still writing?
I am.
Okay. It's very important to put this on your contract. And here's why. What's a contract contingency and time frame? Do you guys know what that is? Anybody not know what it is?
Something that will change.
You have the smartest REIA I've ever spoken to. This is exciting. It just strictly means that if I said on that contract that it was contingent upon financing, then, and the financing period had a time frame in it, then that time period wouldn't start until I have a fully executed contract and all addenda. Right? You guys get that?
Yeah.
That's hugely important. Because what happens is this is what buys your time frame. Okay? How long have you been doing real estate? Didn't you read the contract? I thought we had an agreement. You know, this is just law 101. I thought we said that, you know, when they signed that contract, they accepted these terms. Right? That's when the agent is like, how come you haven't made a deposit yet? Yes, sir.
Does that need to be in the contract, or does that just need to be understood by you and the
No.
buyer?
This is written on every single contract I do. Never, ever, ever have an understanding. that's what the force court's
Oh,
all about.
absolutely. They're not worth the paper they're written on.
Correct. Correct. And in fact, when the agent tells you, hey, that's not enough money, well then, hey, start kicking in. Because this is all I'm gonna pay. If you wanna pay more than that, I'll watch. And they're like, oh, wait.
That'd be fun.
I'm usually not this cocky, but that drive really got me. Wow. Okay, so everybody got this written down? Waiting on anybody? Okay. Is this cool?
Yeah.
Okay. This right here, if you use this, will make you money. How do I know? So I've done this. Recently. Yes, sir.
So if you're putting that to your buying agent on an REO, normally they come up and they say, well, this is the contract, but you are actually making the contract and giving it to the buying agent and say, use
Yes.
this?
Here's the thing. Show me the law
Right.
or the state statute or the federal statute that mandates that I must use your contract.
Exactly, okay,
Okay?
gotcha.
Okay? And if they say, well, the bank only accepts this, well, it sounds like the bank only accepts that when it's somebody else's money, but this is my money, and I don't do that. So if the bank wants my money, which is good money, it spends like everybody else's, this is the way I do business. If you don't like it, then present my offer and see if they kick it back. They never do.
Good.
The agents do. Because why? Why would the agent kick back my offer if it wasn't done their way?
Because it's rooted to their advantage.
Well, it's not even that. It's they have to do some work. Okay? They have to read the contract. How many people have bought a house that they live in? Remember your first one? Okay? Did you read every single document that you signed? Number one, for the mortgage.
Never.
Okay?
Yes.
Number two, at closing, when you signed all those paperwork, and understood what you wrote. You signed a piece of paper that said you read everything and you understand everything, and if you don't, you will contact an attorney to explain them to you. You signed that.
Right.
You also gave them permission to pull your tax returns anytime, anywhere, even after the mortgage has been paid off.
Whew,
Yeah, that's scary.
scary.
And they have your what? Social security number, everything. God, it's just insane what some people sign. I would literally sit down with a mortgage package and people would sign a blank. Now, I had no reason to, give them any fear. I never, ever ripped off anybody in the mortgage business because there's this thing called prison that I want nothing to do with, and there's not enough zeros on your mortgage to make me want to go spend the night in prison or several weeks. But the interesting thing is literally, I would literally sit down with them and they would fill out the whole package, blank, because we had to hurry up. It's scary. How many people have bought a car and walked in there and they hand you the keys and you walk out and you just sign a couple pieces of paper and then you're like, what, 21%? How did that happen? All right, so
People don't even look at that percentage. They say, yeah, 200 a month.
yeah, 73,000 months. All right. Anybody ever pay off a car, like the last coupon? That's exciting. Then you have to throw a party and drink, but then you can't drive, so. I don't really drink. I have like one beer with sushi now. I just eat sushi every day.
Breakfast, lunch,
I
and
eat
dinner.
sushi yet? All right, so that's why I was shaking, because it's been like 5 hours since I had a drink.
Since you ate breakfast.
Yeah, what's that?
Since you ate breakfast.
Since I ate breakfast, yeah. No, this right here is going to give you a competitive edge. Is anybody having, well, you don't know because you haven't been putting offers in. Let's talk about that. Why aren't you putting offers in? Let me go, what, you didn't raise your hand, or you did raise your hand? Yeah.
I haven't put an offer in because I haven't found any properties that made sense to put an offer on.
Okay. That's a very, very good answer. And that is very typical. Because what we do is we look for deals, right? It has to be listed at that magical number that will say, oh my God, I can buy that and make money on it. Because they took out my profit, and they took out the repairs that I was going to do, and they took out all of those things. What do they list the prices at?
Retail.
Full fair market value. So how could you ever find a deal. You can't. And I'm not trying to, embarrass you or anything. I'm trying to make a point. The point is it will never be listed or put up for sale for that magical number that we need to buy it at. Never. And if it is, do we offer full price offers on those?
No.
50%?
Now, if anybody said yes, raise your hand, because I have a lot of wholesale deals. No, you go in at your same. I use the 50% rule as an ease for me because it's real easy to come up with a value, and it's real easy to come up with half of that. So I immediately have my numbers. So for my agents, it's really easy for them to remember, oh, it's worth 200,000, Cliff will offer 100. They don't even have to call me and ask me. Okay? Because they already have my signature on DocuSign. So I'm hoping that they are putting offers in for me, and if they're not, I do what? Find another agent that does it. And in Phoenix, I'm putting together a couple agents there, and the guy says, well, how many agents do you want to put offers in for you? And I'm like, well, how many are there in Phoenix? Well, he said, well, don't you think that'll overlap? And I said, well, it means you got to put your offers in quick, don't it? Right? So it'd be funny if 5 different agents put the same thing in on the same piece of property, and it's all me. And then they call me back and say, well, we've got multiple offers you need to put in.
Okay,
I've never done
51%,
anything
right?
like that. What's
I
that?
say up to 51%.
Up to 51%, exactly. You know that. If it was all my offers, I'd go down to 49. And I've actually done that. Not put multiple offers in myself. That would be collusion. That's federal offense. Anyways, yeah, that's the government's job. So exactly what I wanted to let you guys know is by putting in the offers, you have to put in the offers. And you're never going to see the deal that makes sense. So that's why I use my strategy of coming in at 50% and just with ridiculously gorgeous, beautiful terms. Right?
Oh.
I did it again. There we go. Hey, before I knew what that button was, I thought it was, oh, my thing's dead. What it also does is it allows you to put offers on a lot of properties, doesn't it? Okay, are you guys kind of getting this now?
Yep.
Okay, if you're not putting in 10 offers a day, you're not going to be a real estate investor. Okay, and you're like, well, Cliff, how am I going to find 10 houses? Pick up the MLS. You work with a realtor, right? Yes? No? Yeah. Can you put in like multiple offers really quick, fast, and easy? Do you have DocuSign? Yeah. So can you build a template for me? A template. All I got to do is tell you the address, the math, right? And what else? My name. How am I going to take title? I do everything in a land trust. You guys know what a land trust is? Am I talking too fast?
No.
Okay. And I can talk slow. I'm married. No.
Not for long.
Hey, I went that route once before. No, but if you're putting in 10 offers a week or day, well, let's say a week, okay, because that's hard to do. How many agents do you need to do that? Well, if you don't want to overload them, get 10. So one agent can put in one offer, and you have 10 agents putting in one offer each. You're not overloading your real estate agents. Do not ever, ever, ever sign an exclusive right to represent with anybody, ever. Unless it's on one piece of property for a very short period of time.
Right.
And a short period of time, I'm saying 2 to 3 weeks, okay? Because if you need to, really, how long have you been doing real estate? You need me to sign that to guarantee that you're going to get paid to be, doing all of this work. Obviously, you've not been doing real estate very long, okay? Because nobody signs that except idiots. And I mean idiot in a good way, as is someone that's ignorant. Because I've seen them where they lock you into 365 days. I seen one was 3 years.
Oh, gee.
So anything that person bought in that guy's area, he had to pay him 3%. And there was, guess what? You go to court on that, did you sign that?
Yep.
Yeah. Did Mr. Gager put a gun to your head when you signed that? No. Are you an adult? Are you over the age of 18? Yes. And he didn't bend your arm all the way back and force you to write your name on that? No. Huh, sounds like you gotta pay him.